G'day and welcome to this week's FriBaT, Friday Beers and Tools with Andy. We're going to be a bit of a two-part show today. We're going to go on location in a minute to my dream shed. But first, let's talk about the beer. This week we're doing another Tassie beer. This is a product called Rugged Jack, and it comes from Van Dieman Brewing, which is a Tassie company. So let's get into Rugged Jack. Rugged Jack is a pale ale, and as I mentioned, comes from another Tasmanian brewer called Van Dieman Brewing. Rugged Jack is a hoppy pale ale inspired by the beers we love to take with us on long hikes and bike treks, with one end goal: tantalisingly hoppy refreshment. Its galaxy dry hopping creates a melody of balanced tropical and juicy flavours that jump right out of the beer, only to be followed up with an equally intense hoppy notes of apricot, guava, mango and passion fruit. Happy Friday. Yep, very hoppy. Probably just a little more than what I like for a pale ale. It's actually got a smidge of bitterness too. Tropical. Yeah, there are some tropical flavours there. It's not as good as other pale ales, certainly. Apricot, guava, mango and passion fruit. There's actually a little bit of sourness to it. And it's not supposed to be a sour beer. I can't say that I'm very taken with it. It's certainly not what I would class as a pale ale. It's I don't know how to describe it. Won't be buying that one again. Sorry, Van Dieman Brewing. I don't like your Rugged Jack. That's a 1 out of 5 spanners for me. Yeah, it's beer, but there is definitely better beer out there. Can't recommend that one. Oh well. All right, we're going to go on location in a second. I'll just give you a little bit of background on what I've been doing and show you some B-roll footage whilst I tell you about it. Project Natasha has caused me to look at a whole heap of new processes that I've never done before, and one of those was electroplating. I've never done home electroplating before, and it's surprisingly easy to do once you've set up and you've got the right chemicals and you've got a decent power supply. I'm by no means an expert on it, and I'm not going to make this a tutorial video because there's no point. There are hundreds and hundreds of tutorial videos on YouTube that are far better at explaining the electroplating process than what I can. However, it is something that is quite handy to do for small jobs. And one of the jobs that I've been attempting to do was the aluminium tray on Natasha, which is a pretty rough tray. I'm not sure what it's from. It's certainly not of the era, but it will do for Natasha. So it's an alloy tray, and it has steel fittings, as you'd expect, for the latches and the hinges. They are hot dip galv, I believe, and not very well, very thin. But the other problem with putting, any time you put steel with aluminium, is that you can get galvanic corrosion between the two. And so I think that's what's happened in this case. There's a lot of galvanic corrosions happen to the alloy, and then of course that has also taken away the zinc protective coating on the steel, and the steel is rusted in places. So long story short, the process is clean the product. The product's got to be super clean. It's got to be free of rust. It's got to be basically bare metal, ready to go. And you can only do steel in this particular case. And then you need a really good quality alkaline degreaser, which I just use in a pump spray bottle. And once it's degreased, then it's rinsed in distilled water and put into the hydrochloric acid etching or pickling bath. And that can be in there for a few minutes. That basically takes away any zinc coating that's still on the material. It also gets into the nooks and crannies, which is particularly important on the latches on the tray, and Once that's pickled, it's then rinsed again in distilled water and then placed into the solution for zinc plating. Now the solution is basically vinegar, cleaning vinegar, and salt water, salt and distilled water, and then your zinc anodes are put into the bath and they are hooked up to the positive side of the battery supply, and then the part is suspended in the solution with a copper wire and connected to the negative of your power supply, and then depending on the size of the part you vary the current, but it's very little current. It only usually takes about an amp, maybe up to 1.5 amps, and then 20 minutes, half an hour, depending on the size of the part, you get a zinc plating. Now, what I'm intending to do with these is, well, one of the first questions is, why didn't I just blast them and then paint them? Because of, especially the latches, very hard to get into the insides of the latches to protect them from rust. So the zinc plating actually gets inside those areas, and I will use the zinc plating as an undercoat basically. So where I can't paint will be zinc plated on the inside, and then I will paint the outsides of them just a spray can enamel, and that will also help prevent galvanic corrosion between the steel part and the aluminium part. I'm also going to use stainless steel 316 fasteners instead of the old mild steel or zinc coated mild steel fasteners, which again causes galvanic corrosion. You get less with stainless steel. It's used in boats. You still get some, but you get less. And of course the stainless doesn't rust itself. Anyway, so that's just a quick overview of my electroplating setup. I am looking at doing nickel plating as well, which is what the nickel acetate is, the greeny solution that I've got there, and that I'll probably do a follow-up video on nickel plating at some stage as well. But that's it for today's FriBaT. Hope you've had a great week, and this is the last FriBaT for the year, so Happy New Year. And hope that 2023 is a great year for you, and hopefully on to bigger and better things for GRAYZBILDZ in 2023. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and please don't forget to hit the like button and share the video around to help me keep growing the channel. There will be more Natasha videos coming very soon, and we'll see you next year. Cheers.